Brutor LLM Governance. Part 4. Govern and Prove. This is where enforcement becomes evidence. A tool call argument policy, policy as code, and an audit trail tagged to your compliance frameworks. Part 4 of the 6-part series. We've made it safe, made the spend predictable, and made access structural. Now we prove every control ran. The model asks to run a destructive query. The gateway denies it. Then proves the control ran. The argument policy runs a SQL analyzer on the model's own tool calls. And every rule is policy as code. YAML you export, commit to Git, dry run against a diff, and promote. Deny it. Then prove it. Deny the destructive tool call, tag the event to the framework, and keep the whole thing on the record. Governance you can prove. Start with the lifecycle across the top. Deny the rights. Export the rules as YAML. Dry run against real traffic. Tag every call across 5 frameworks with an HMAC signed trace. Then the 4 pillars beneath it. A tool call argument policy that denies the model's delete, the same SQL analyzer as the MCP demo with no MCP server in the path. A policy as code lifecycle. Export, author, dry run, promote. A compliance dashboard where every call is tagged at write time, and an asset registry with signed traces. Now, the live demo. First, how it's configured in the admin console. Then we'll deny a destructive query, promote a rule live, and pull the tagged evidence. Under Governance, open the Argument Policy, SalesDB, read-only, in full, and walk the General tab field by field. First, the surface, LLM tool calls, the model's own proposed function calls, with no MCP server anywhere in the path. Next, the tool name, query SalesDB. This is matched against the tool definitions the agent hands the model. Only calls to that tool are inspected. Then the argument, SQL, the field inside the tool's arguments that the analyzer actually parses. And the severity is deny. A hit is blocked with a 403. Access control binds the policy to the sales team, and the Rules tab decides when it fires. Deny if the statement writes any insert, update, delete, or DDL. And the tenant's compliance posture, governance, compliance. 2 frameworks are declared, EU AI Act and SOC 2. Once declared, every governed call is tagged against them at write time. That's what turns the audit log into evidence. But where does that EU AI Act risk tier come from? It's set per team. Open Acme's Sales Group, its Governance tab, the Compliance subtab. Sales is classified high risk. That per group tier is what stamps EU AI Act.high on every sales call. The tenant declares the framework. Each group sets its own risk level. No MCP server here, just an agent that declares a tool inline and calls the model directly. It asks for Q1 revenue by region. The model proposes a select. The gateway runs that SQL through the argument policy analyzer, finds no rights, and lets it through. 200 OK. The agent runs the query itself. Same agent, same tool, but now the user tells it to delete a row. The model does exactly what a SQL agent should and proposes the delete. The gateway parses it. The analyzer classifies it as a write against bookings. The deny if rights rule fires, and the call is refused with a 403 before it ever reaches the provider. No MCP server anywhere. Same analyzer, same rule, same audit envelope. Everything you just saw configured is policy as code under the hood. Governance, policy as code. Pick the sales scope, initialize from DB, and the whole sales configuration loads as one YAML policy bundle. Scroll through it, and every control is declared in the open. The guardrail checks, the semantic policies, and the read-only argument policy. Its surface, analyzer, and deny if rights rule. All in version controllable YAML. Commit it, review it, version it, like Terraform for governance. Promote it. Dry run validates the bundle against what's live. Then apply. The version auto bumps 1.00 to 1.01, and the bundle is written. A versioned, rollbackable promotion, live in every gateway replica in about 50 milliseconds over Postgres listen notify. And now the resource group is locked to that bundle version. Open sales and resource groups and the banner says it plainly. Managed by policy version 101. Edit anything here by hand and the console reminds you to update the bundle. Governance with a version number, that's the whole point. Finally, the evidence. Every call from this demo was tagged at right time against those declared frameworks. EU AI Act. Sales runs high risk, so hundreds of tagged rows. SOC 2. The guardrail and argument policy blocks broken out by control. The dashboard is the operator's view. The per framework CSV is the auditor's. Same rows, no ETL, compliance becomes ambient instead of a quarterly project. And it isn't just a dashboard number. The tags live on every row. In the proxy log, each governed call carries its compliance tags right there in the list. EU AI Act at high risk. SOC2 controls stamped at right time. Open a row, and the full compliance and residency block is on the record. The raw evidence the dashboard is counting. And you can slice the whole log by any dimension. The facet rail on the left filters by resource, user, capability, status, or compliance. Open the compliance facet, pick a framework tag, and the log narrows to exactly those calls. Every EU AI Act high-risk request. One click, ready to export for the auditor. Evidence on demand. The last piece of proving governance is knowing your inventory. The AI Asset Registry. Sync now reconciles it against the live config. Open the fact sheet for the sales chat routing group we've been governing, and here's its whole record in one place. Lifecycle and enforcement mode, the usage and cost it's driven, the guardrails it enforces, and the compliance frameworks it's tagged against. Even its snapshot history. One asset, its full posture, the record an auditor asks for. One click away.